The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Friday edition of Running Point, and happy opening day if you are playing high school baseball or high school softball. Today is opening day for high school softball and high school baseball in the state of Ohio. Although today is kind of an ugly day to play baseball, unless, of course, the wind is at your back and you're a hitter. Then it's a pretty cool day to play baseball because a routine fly ball could sail out of the yard pretty quickly with all the wind that we've had going on. It's a Friday edition of Running Point presented by the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you are in the market for a brand new or a slightly used automobile, before you go anywhere else, before you put your name on the dotted line, pen to paper, put your John Hancock on a contract that's going to have you paying out the wazoo for the next 5, 6, 7 years, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your wallets to head over to Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Why? Well, 3 reasons. Number one, they've got a great sales department. They're not going to sell you a lemon. They don't work that way. They're a classy car dealership that does not do business like that. Number two, they've got a great finance department. Tracy Bryden, Latonia grad, class of 79, if I'm not mistaken. She was in high school when I was in high school. Anyway, she will get you hooked up with the lowest interest rates possible. And finally, number three, an unbelievably good service department. I mean, let's be honest. If you buy a brand new car, you're going to want your car serviced. Oil changes, tire rotations, and whatnot. These folks are good. All of them are solid. So there's 3 big reasons why you need to go to Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown before you commit to purchasing a brand new or slightly used automobile. Well, my Saturday just got a whole lot brighter and a whole lot less busy. Sadly, the YSU Penguins game for tomorrow against North Dakota has been postponed. The reason? Unfortunately, one of the members of North Dakota tested positive for COVID. And because of that, they don't want to take any chances with any of the players possibly getting this. So tomorrow's game, the final home game of the spring season, has been postponed. Now, they are going to make this game up. The game is going to be scheduled to play on Saturday, April the 17th at 12 noon. So there is a makeup date on this. It is going to be Saturday, April the 17th. It would be the final game of the regular season. Saturday, April the 17th at 12 noon, YSU taking on North Dakota. And North Dakota might be playing for a playoff spot. Let's be honest, they're already down one regular season game because they were supposed to play Illinois State later in the season, and Illinois State backed away from the spring schedule earlier this week. So with with Illinois State bouncing out of the spring, North Dakota is now with a 7-game schedule. A 7-game schedule. So North Dakota is currently, 3-1, I believe. I believe they're 3-1, so they're going to have to play a couple more games here. Actually, no, they're I beg your pardon. They are 4-1. So they're off obviously tomorrow, and then next week they will play a game, and then they're off the following week because they were supposed to have played Illinois State the last game of this season. Well, they got canceled because Illinois State said, we're not going to do this anymore. So North Dakota could very well be playing for a playoff spot come April the 17th when they take on Youngstown State. But again, tomorrow's game, sadly, it has been postponed. Youngstown State was to have taken on North Dakota in football over at Stambaugh Stadium. That game has been postponed. Unfortunately, one of the members of the North Dakota football team, one of the players, tested positive for COVID. So this game is going to be canceled and made up on Saturday, April the 17th at Stambaugh. Over at Stambaugh Stadium beginning at 12 noon on April the 17th. All right, with that in mind, let's get to the show here. We got baseball to talk about. 3 baseball coaches will be calling in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. Gary Nittal from Canfield will be calling in at 1:10. Canfield has a pretty talented team. And again, look, handicapping high school baseball or high school softball this year is going to be damn near impossible. And the reason why, obviously, is because we didn't have it last year. Because of COVID, we did not have any spring sports in the state of Ohio last year. So because of that, as we've made mention on a number of occasions, the last time we had baseball, since we're going to talk baseball today, the senior class, they were sophomores. That's the last time that we had baseball. The junior class, well, they were freshmen. And the sophomore and freshman class currently, they were in junior high school. That was the last time we had baseball. We had baseball in 2019. That was the last year that we had baseball in the state of Ohio, again, thanks to COVID. So it's going to be really difficult to try to figure out who has what and what kind of talent everyone has, and it's going to be damn near impossible. We can tell you that Canfield does have a nice amount of talent, young kids, but very few of them had an opportunity to play varsity ball. Again, keep in mind, the last time we played baseball in this state, the seniors were sophomores. So I guess if you want to be technical, I suppose that anyone that was playing varsity ball as a sophomore or a freshman, I guess the team that had the most kids playing varsity ball as sophomores and freshmen in 2019, they're probably going to be a pretty decent team because all of those kids had varsity experience. Because again, last year we didn't have any spring sports in Ohio because of COVID. So Gary Nittal from Canfield will be joining the show at 1:10. Joe Gabriel from Boardman will be chiming in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline at 2:20. And Jim Ciambatti from Warren JFK will be calling the show at 2:40. 3 of the area baseball coaches. And again, every Friday we will have a number of baseball coaches calling in, and we'll talk about how the baseball season is going and whatnot. And again, today is opening day for high school baseball and high school softball, and I believe all of the spring sports, if I'm not mistaken, in the state of Ohio. So happy opening day to the spring athletes. All right, if you want to chime in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, do so. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. So Andre Drummond is a Cavalier still. Yeah, he was supposed to be dealt at the trade deadline when Andre Drummond was basically said, hey, you're not going to play for us anymore. You're just going to be sitting on the sidelines. We're going to pay your salary, but we don't want you to play anymore, which is one of the dumbest things that I think that any basketball team has ever done. It just blew my mind that the Cavaliers and Drummond both agreed for him to sit. I didn't understand it. Anyway, he hadn't played since February the 12th, and here is the Cavaliers looking to trade Andre Drummond. The only thing is nobody wanted to give up anything. So Drummond is still a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Without question, his contract is going to be bought out. All right, let's go to the phone lines real quick. Mr. Football, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Go, sir.
My pleasure, Ronnie. It's too bad about the Fighting Penguins having the game pulled out from under them tomorrow.
Yeah, it is going to be made up on April the 17th, but because one of the kids from North Dakota tested positive for COVID, there was no reason for the game to be played. Let that play out, and there's no reason to put any kind of threat of COVID on any of our football players. So, we'll play that game, but it's going to be later in the season.
Yeah, down the road and everything. And I forgot to ask you this the last time, Ronnie. Are they still going to have a tournament at the end for the one?
Oh yeah, absolutely they are.
1AA
yes,
championship.
Yes, they will.
Oh, less teams.
16. Yeah, there will be 16 teams. Normally, the FCS playoffs have 24. This year, they pared it down to 16.
So they will have a playoff. And chances being YSU have to win out to maybe get considered.
No, they're not. They're not going to be considered. One would guess in an 8-game season, one would guess 6-2 is probably going to get you a playoff spot.
Yes, because of the shortness of the game.
Yeah,
and everything like
I
that.
can't imagine.
There's no way.
Yeah, I can't imagine more than 3 teams coming out of the Missouri Valley Athletic Conference, and with Illinois State pulling out, that spells a little bit of trouble for South Dakota State because they were supposed to play Illinois State, so now they have a 7-game schedule instead of an 8-game schedule. 5-2. I don't know if South Dakota State gets into the playoffs at 5-2.
The horse that we gave you last week won, of course, but it didn't pay that well. You had to put it in with a couple long shots that hit the board and everything. But win is a win. You don't distract that. But
while you're speaking of horses, let me say that now that my Saturday has been pretty much less busy. The Florida Derby is tomorrow, and I am
down at Gulfstream.
Yeah, and I'm trying to read up on some information on that in hopes of, perhaps getting a really nice payout, if you will.
Well, these horses that your fellow listeners out there in high tech land they're going to be the ones that are going to vie for a spot in the Kentucky Derby. This is a preliminary, how would you say it, Ronnie? A contest to see what horses are qualified to get in for the Derby that's coming up.
Yeah, there's points in every grade race. Yeah, and the top 20 horses that have the most points are going to be the ones that are going to be invited to Churchill Downs. So essentially, if you win the Florida Derby, you're pretty much going to be in the Kentucky Derby. You don't have to do another race.
You don't have to go up against your competitors from here on out, but you still have to run. But you're more or less locked into one of those 20 coveted spots for the Derby, and it's I don't know as of yet. I know some people they have a little bit of people coming into Gulfstream. You see it when you go to the track. You see the Gulfstream simulcast and stuff like that. There's people at the track, but obviously it's not crowded as it.
No, I mean I would imagine it's the same thing over at Hollywood. that you're going to have.
We had people, yes, last week, and we did have a little. You could tell when the people of the greater Youngstown and surrounding areas got their stimulus check because the parking lot was full. You had to park in the weeds. Some of the people had to park in the open lot, we'll say, by the first turn, across from the first turn, in the weeds, and truck over there to the entrance and stuff. But they're still, having you mask up and everything, which I agree with that. And there's people downstairs. It's open, and if you want to be closest to the little horses and stuff, and go out into the paddock area to see them get saddled and the jockeys get on. And if you understand Spanish, you can hear them saying to each other, what horse is going to win. No, I'm only kidding.
No, hey, listen, you never know. Hey, just imagine what this place is going to be like when the Ohio House and Senate get off their ass and figure out how to put a bill together to allow legalized sports gambling in this state. And then you have Hollywood figure out which floor is going to be the sports book and which floor is going to be the horse racing book.
Well, I heard it from, I can't say reliable sources, that upstairs is going to be where you can make your wagers on your various baseball, basketball, and football teams.
And I think that would be a perfect scenario. You've got all those little TVs there, and then you have the area where people can sit and munch on some really good food, because that restaurant is next to the
the skybox.
Yeah, that's next to the betting area, and you have plenty of room where you can sit back and watch all of the games. And again, I mean, the state of Ohio has lost a ridiculous amount of money because every state that borders the state of Ohio has sports betting. Pennsylvania has it. West Virginia has it. Kentucky has it. Indiana has it. Michigan has it. Everyone that lives close to a border is leaving the state of Ohio to go to the border states. I mean, if I had a dime for every time I saw an Ohio license plate at Mountaineer Park over at the sports book where they're smoking and there's not nearly enough room because it's cramped, and they should have put it where they're betting the ponies and have the ponies open where the sports book is. They should have flip-flopped that. But I digress. If I had a dime for every time I saw an Ohio license plate, I wouldn't have to work another day the rest of my life.
Well, and also over at in Pittsburgh too, at their facility.
And I've never been there. I've never been to that facility. Nice. I heard it's really nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, but I mean, nice. Convenient wise, I mean, I live 30 minutes from Mountaineer. I mean, I just shoot down Route 11, go over the Knoll Bridge and over the river and through the woods to slot machines I go. Or crap table I go, or NFL betting I go. I mean, Mountaineer's it's an easy place to get to.
And just think of it when I go to our state senator that owns a grocery store, and their name's Police, and I seen him down there, and he said it's because of the COVID situation. Our governor is sitting on his hands by getting the bills ready to be signed. He has not signed it as of today.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine that. If that's the reason, then shame on Governor DeWine, because that's a BS reason. I mean, that to me, you should never have that as an excuse to open up some things. I mean, look. I mean, Vince, you have done your share of betting on the ponies. You do a really nice job of handicapping. How much money do you think the state of Ohio has lost by not getting off their ass and putting sports gaming in front and center in this state?
Well, you have to go back to when the Mountaineer opened up in the place in Pittsburgh has opened up. We're taking sports betting up down there. That's the difference in the money the state has lost. And I think whatever they charge the per diem for when you bet on a team, if you bet $100, you put up 110. Out of that $10, if you lose, that's what the state gets as a surrogate between you
Sure.
and your money.
Yeah, they're getting 10% of whatever you bet.
You bet, right? And it goes up. The higher you bet, the more money you bet. Obviously, the more money the state. If you lose, the state makes. So you got to look on it per day, because with the basketball tournament and coming up, there's 4 or 5 days of betting there, whereas in football and the baseball season that opens up, and you look at the basketball season now that the colleges is they're in the tournament and everything. There's 4 days or 5 days of college games, but the pro basketball goes almost daily. And when the baseball opens up, they have games every day. So you look at it from that point of view. And why is gambler, we'll say bookmaker, once told me, he goes, you can never win if you bet every day.
No, this is true.
The odds are against you.
Yeah.
You can't win if you bet every
Now,
day.
I seem to remember that the book opened in West Virginia around Thanksgiving 2 years ago. So around Thanksgiving 2019, it was during the NFL season. I believe it was somewhere around Thanksgiving 2019. So using that as a point of reference, I would imagine that if you were to go from Thanksgiving 2019 to today, I'm almost ready to say that the state of Ohio has lost 8 digits worth of money, if not more than 8 digits, possibly 9 digits worth of money.
Oh, that's a considerable amount, right? All right, Ronnie, have a good weekend. I'll talk to you on Monday. Good luck to you and your fan base out there.
I appreciate it, sir. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. It blows my mind that the state of Ohio has not opened up the floodgates on this one. And I'm not kidding. They have lost a ridiculous amount of money that could have stayed in the state of Ohio. It's just crazy. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. Again, the major story that broke about an hour ago, Youngstown State's game against North Dakota, the football game against North Dakota, has been postponed. A player from North Dakota tested positive for COVID, and because of that, they did not want to take any chances, rightfully so. There's no reason to open up that can of worms. So tomorrow's game has been postponed. The game will be made up, however, as the Penguins will wind up playing North Dakota. That will be on April the 17th. April the 17th, 12 noon at Stambaugh. Youngstown State will play North Dakota. That's the makeup for tomorrow's cancellation. Again, the reason why the game is canceled, a player from North Dakota tested positive for the coronavirus. So, unfortunately, no YSU football tomorrow. That game has been rescheduled for Saturday, April the 17th. At 12 noon, that game will be played at Stambaugh Stadium. Now, the good news for this is, well, Youngstown State, the baseball team, should be able to get a pretty decent crowd over at Eastwood, as they will be playing a doubleheader against Wright State. And again, with the Penguins football game being postponed, well, and the baseball team is not postponed, so let's have some fun here. The YSU baseball team will be playing a doubleheader against Wright State, and again, that game will be on Saturday, a doubleheader on Saturday against Wright State. 1:30 is the game time for game number 1, and the nightcap will start somewhere around 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. So get on out to Eastwood to watch the Penguins take on Wright State. And again, Wright State is the benchmark for baseball in the Horizon League. They are off to a sizzling 12-0 start in the Horizon League, as the Penguins will try to snap that winning streak in half, and hopefully the Penguins can take 3 out of 4 from Wright State this weekend, as the Penguins have Wright State coming to town today, doubleheader tomorrow, and a single game on Sunday. All right, we're going to take a timeout. On the other side, we'll open up the phone lines, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Again, the Penguins football game tomorrow against North Dakota has been postponed. It will be made up on Saturday, April the 17th at 12 noon. That game will be played at Stambaugh Stadium on the campus of Youngstown State University. Back with more on this Friday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
The 2021 Auto Show must go on. Exclusively at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Save more during the Extra Mile Auto Show with employee pricing for everyone on some of our most popular models. Plus, get an additional $1,000 on the value of your trade. Schedule a test drive today to experience the 2021 lineup for yourself.
Visit GreenwoodAutoShow.com
to see how Greenwood Chevrolet can go the extra mile for you.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Again, coming up on the show today as we welcome back an old friend. Hello, old friend. That would be baseball. For the first time in 2 years, we'll be playing baseball in the state of Ohio. Of course, last year, as everyone knows, I don't think anybody needs to be reminded of this, but last year there was no baseball. There was no spring sports in the state of Ohio due to COVID. We still have COVID, but we have it under control, or at least enough under control to be able to play spring sports this year. And because of that, it is opening day today. I don't know how many teams are going to be playing today, but it is opening day today. And joining us on the program today at 1:10, Gary Nittal, the head baseball coach at Canfield. Joe Gabriel, the head baseball coach from Boardman, will be calling in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline at 2:20. And Jim Ciambatti from Warren JFK will be calling in on the program at 2:40. And every Friday we will have as many high school basketball good Lord, Ron, high school baseball coaches as we can, as we celebrate spring sports being back in the Mahoning Valley, and it is good to have spring sports back. Also coming up this weekend, you got the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 that will be coming up Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Saturday will be round one of the Sweet 16, as we have plenty of interesting games to be played. Tomorrow, the Sweet 16 features Oregon State taking on Loyola Chicago, Villanova taking on Baylor, Oral Roberts against Arkansas, Syracuse against Houston. And then on Sunday, the other half of the Sweet 16, Creighton will play Gonzaga, Florida State will play Michigan, UCLA plays Alabama, and Oregon will play USC. So we'll see what happens there. Monday, you'll get your Elite 8 games. The winner of Oregon State and Loyola of Chicago take on the winner of Villanova and Baylor. The other one, the winner of Oral Roberts. Actually, no, the winner of Oregon State and who's in that? Oregon State and Loyola's in the Baylor then. Yeah, that's right. And then you have Oral Roberts and Arkansas taking on the winner of the Syracuse-Houston game. And then you have Creighton and Gonzaga. The winner of that game takes on the winner of Oregon and USC. And then you have Florida State taking on Michigan. And the winner of that game takes on the winner of UCLA and Alabama. So there you go. Actually, it's Oregon State and Loyola Chicago. No, it's Oregon State and Loyola Chicago. The winner of that game takes on the winner of Syracuse and Houston. Can we say that Loyola Chicago is going to be in the Final Four? Because I think Syracuse beats Houston straight up. Houston should have been beaten in the round of 32 by Rutgers. Rutgers crapped on themselves. I have a strange feeling the Elite Eight is going to be Loyola Chicago against Syracuse. And I think Villanova is going to beat Baylor, to be honest. And I think that Villanova plays Arkansas for the chance to go to the Final Four. And then on Sunday, I have Gonzaga beating Creighton, and I have USC knocking off Oregon. And then in the other one, I got Michigan and Alabama. Although it wouldn't surprise me if UCLA knocked off Alabama. I'm just saying. Yeah, it also wouldn't surprise me if Florida State knocked off Michigan. Being that the Big Ten pretty much has drizzled on themselves this entire tournament, and Michigan is the only team left in the Big Ten. It would not surprise me if the Seminoles knocked off Michigan. So there's some interesting games. By the way, the lines in all of these games: Oregon State's a 7-point dog against Loyola Chicago. Villanova is a 7.5-point underdog against Baylor. Oral Roberts is an 11.5-point underdog against Arkansas. Syracuse is a 6.5-point dog against Houston. Creighton is a 13-point underdog to Gonzaga. Michigan's a 2.5-point favorite against Florida State. Alabama is a 6.5-point favorite against UCLA. And USC is a 2-point favorite against Oregon. The late games on Saturday and Sunday. The Saturday game, Syracuse and Houston, is going to be played at 9:55 on Saturday night. And the late game on Sunday, Oregon and USC, that game is going to be at 9:45. 9:45 is when that game is going to be played. Yikes. Man, that's nuts. And then you have the Elite Eight games. You would have 2 games on Monday and then 2 games on Tuesday, and then the Final Four will be played Saturday. The 2 national semifinal games on Saturday, and then, not this Monday, but next Monday will be your national championship game. Hell, my bracket's already gone goofy because I had Illinois winning the whole thing. So, it is what it is. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, open for business. Again, Youngstown State's game against North Dakota, the football game, has been postponed for tomorrow. One of the football players from North Dakota tested positive for COVID. No sense of putting anyone through any kind of threat of COVID. So they'll postpone that game. The game is going to be made up. April the 17th, those 2 teams will play each other in a game at Stambaugh. April the 17th, that's on a Saturday, and the game will be played at Stambaugh beginning at 12 noon. All right, Cavaliers in action tonight. They're out in Los Angeles taking on the LeBronless and the Unibrowless Los Angeles Lakers. Cavs actually might have a chance to win this game. A slight chance. It'd be a bigger chance if they had Andre Drummond playing. I still blows my mind that Andre Drummond is not playing and hasn't played since mid-February. And to his credit, he has not. He's not been completely away from the team. He's on the sidelines, and he's giving all the young kids all kinds of advice and whatnot. And it was a mutual decision from what I understand. Drummond has not played since February the 12th. They're still working on a buyout to his contract. So the buyout, we'll see what happens there. If he's bought out, then you're going to be looking at Drummond probably going to one of the contending teams, and then we go from there. Hard to believe, in 6 days, the Major League Baseball season begins. 6 days from now, the Major League Baseball season will begin, And I made mention of this yesterday. I fully anticipate the Indians winning bare minimum 85 games this year. I fully believe that the Indians will win at a minimum 85 games this year. Brian Shaw officially made the Indians' opening day roster. We talked a little bit about that a couple of days ago. Shaw's velocity has gone back to where it used to be when he was in Cleveland. He's hitting in the low to mid 90s with a moving fastball, and he is going to be in the bullpen along with Karinchak, Clase, Whitgren. This is going to be a fun bullpen. A lot of live arms in the back of that bullpen, and then you have the starting rotation. The Indians could surprise some people. They really could. I was looking at the at what the wise guys had to think about this, and I think this was these were numbers that were put in before Eloy Jimenez ruined his shoulder yesterday or a couple of days ago. He was trying to rob someone of a home run in a game out in Arizona, and he's right-handed, so the glove is on the left hand, and as he went to jump, he got his arm way over the 8-foot fence, 8 or 9-foot fence, and he got his arm way over the fence. And as he was trying to grab the ball and bring it back to rob someone of a home run, his shoulder got lodged. As think about the fence went into his armpit. The top of the fence went into his armpit, and somehow his shoulder or the main ligament in his shoulder got shredded. So Jimenez is out 4 to 5 months, or 5 to 6 months, I should say. His season is basically over, unfortunately. And Eloy Jimenez is one of the big boppers in the White Sox lineup. And I don't believe, and I don't know this because I'm not really that much into the White Sox farm system, but I don't believe they have anyone in the farm system ready to replace Jimenez. And that's a huge hole in the corner spot in the outfield. I believe he plays left field. So that's a huge hole. And they're going to have to go out and they're going to have to get someone. Well, I saw some numbers, and I think these numbers were prior to this injury. They had the White Sox favored to win the division. And the Indians were like 9.5 to 1 to win the division. To which, again, I wouldn't completely bet the house on this, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for the Indians to win the division this year. It just isn't. I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think a lot of folks are under this conception or misconception that, well, Lindor's gone and Santana's gone, and, well, there's nobody left on the offense other than Ramirez. Not necessarily. There's still some guys that can hit the ball. It's now, unfortunately for the Tribe, there's going to have to be some guys that are going to have unbelievable seasons for the Indians to contend, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. We'll leave it at that. It really isn't. So baseball starts 6 days from now. Major League Baseball does. I'd be curious to see, very curious to see what happens. Very, very curious to see what happens. All right, 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. I'm hoping that we can grab a friend of the show, John Parado, on before the Pirates season begins on Thursday. Buccos have they have a team that is going to be very young. I mean, this is a Pirates team that's rebuilding, and long overdue that the Pirates are finally rebuilding. It's long overdue, and I think that there will be some talent, but it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens. There's going to be some veterans on this team, but there's also going to be some players on this team that you're going to like, who the heck is this guy? But there's some decent talent. There is some decent talent. One guy that I believe is going to be a nice presence in the clubhouse, assuming that he makes the team, is Todd Frazier. Todd Frazier has been around the game forever and a day, and he's in the autumn of a pretty nice Major League Baseball career, and he's a great guy in the clubhouse. And I think the Pirates are doing this really well, where you have some guys that are extremely young, but you also have some guys that are, quote, grizzled veterans. And they're going to have a real interesting mix. It's going to be an interesting mix of youth and veterans, and they're not going to be any good. I mean, the Pirates they're going to be hovering around 100 losses, if not more. But there are some guys to keep your eyes on. There are some guys that I'm looking forward to seeing. Mitch Keller. From the pitching staff, Mitch Keller and Tyler Anderson are two guys that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I want to see if Keller is good enough to take the bull by the horns and be the ace of this team. Offensively, Polanco's had a really good year at spring training. He has had a really nice spring training. And if for any other reason, come trade deadline time, if Polanco's killing it, you could possibly see the Pirates making a deal and trying to get as much talent for Polanco as humanly possible. Obviously, guys that are going to stick around. I love Adam Frazier over at second base. He and Newman are the double play combination, and Brian Hayes at third base. Fantastic. Colin Moran is over at first base with Josh Bell gone. You could see Todd Frazier playing first base as well. Eric Gonzalez can play second. He can play short. He can play third. The infield's actually pretty nice. I kind of like the infield. And then you have the catching duo, Jacob Stallings and Michael Perez. Can Stallings handle the job for most of the year? I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. And not to mention the fact the Pirates they're starting to become an absolutely loaded farm system. Their farm system is top 10. And that's the bottom portion of the top 10, somewhere around 8 or 9, but it's a good farm system. And the guys that had some value, the Pirates traded away. I mean, when you do a teardown and a rebuild, you want to trade away the guys that you believe are not going to be around when you're ready to contend, and the guys that have the market value. Now, in Polanco's case, he didn't have the market value because he'd been hurt. Perfect scenario for the Pirates is Gregory Polanco hitting the crap out of the ball this year. Because if that's the case, then he reestablishes his market value. The Pirates are going to be able to get whatever they can for Polanco, a pretty nice haul if he mashes the ball this year. If he's healthy and he shows that he can, that he's not going to be injured, again, you can reestablish your market value. I think once he does come trade deadline, Pirates will get rid of him. And they'll get some more toys in the closet for the farm system and have those kids percolate. Not to mention the fact that Pirates have the number 1 pick in this upcoming year's draft, which you may or may not see when the draft league gets underway at Eastwood Field in May, which is a good segue to talk about the Scrappers, which begin in a couple of months. Scrappers, one of 6 teams that will be in the inaugural Major League Baseball Draft League. The Scrappers, West Virginia, Williamsport, State College, Frederick, and Trenton 6 teams. The draft-eligible kids from high school, junior college, and college will be invited, courtesy of Prep Baseball Report, PBR, and I believe Major League Baseball is going to play a part in the in inviting the draft-eligible players as well. Those players will be they will be dispersed into the 6 teams. One would assume a 25 to 30 man roster. So you're looking at anywhere from 150 to 180 kids will be taking part in this draft league. And the draft league starts in a couple of months. They'll take some time off when the Major League Baseball draft takes place during the All-Star festivities in Atlanta in the second week of July. And then the season will restart on July the 15th. The end of the season no later than August the 15th, which is great news around here because in previous years, if you remember, the Scrappers were part of the New York Penn League, and the New York Penn League season was always in play until Labor Day, which you're going up against 2 really big entities in the Mahoning Valley. If you have baseball that long, 2 entities. Number one, you're going up against high school football, which it doesn't matter if you have a great baseball team, a great professional baseball team, or a great whatever. You're not going to compete against high school football in this market. You're just not. And the other thing is the Canfield Fair. You don't go up against the Canfield Fair. Now, hopefully, we have the Canfield Fair this year. Didn't have it last year because of COVID. Hopefully, everyone gets vaccinated. The vaccinations, apparently everyone should have access to the vaccinations by the end of May. Hopefully, everyone could be vaccinated by the end of May if that's the case. Maybe we have the Canfield Fair, and then we're back to business with the Canfield Fair. But with the draft league closing up shop by April 15th, you no longer go up against high school football and the Canfield Fair. So while the season gets cut a little bit, you're going to see better talent, and you're going to be able to still go out and watch high school football, because by the time high school football begins, this season will have already been ended, which is the beautiful part of this. And the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, they're one of only 6 teams that is part of this league. And YSN is very much involved in this because we are the home for the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. We will be carrying their games, and it's going to be a blast. We are going to have an absolute blast. Our coverage with the Scrappers begins in a couple of months, and as we get closer and closer to the 2021 draft league, we're going to have an absolute ball with all of this. And again, the opportunities to do some stories on these kids, and with me doing the play-by-play of the Scrappers home games, it'll just be like listening to a minor league baseball game. I can guarantee you, the 15-minute pregame show will have a dugout interview. Once a week, we'll talk with the skipper of the team, and we'll have a great time. Do the game, post-game show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're hoping that the fans will show up in droves to watch some really, really good talent that is going to be coming through Eastwood Field in Niles. It's going to be an absolute blast. But that's all going to be coming up in May. And as we mentioned, the Pirates, they have the first pick in the 2021 draft. Now, who knows if the first pick is going to take part in this? I mean, we don't know. What we do know is there's going to be an awful lot of talented players that are draft eligible, that are looking to improve their draft stock. And this has the backing of Major League Baseball. I don't know if anyone saw this, and job well done by the Scrappers. I don't know who was in charge of doing this, but Harold Reynolds from the Major League Baseball Network cut a spot for the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. And MLB is behind this. This is a Rob Manfred MLB production, and normally anything that belongs to those entities, I'm kind of like shaking my head going, I don't know if this is going to work because they don't do a very good job of marketing. But let me tell you, kudos to the folks responsible for this. Harold Reynolds, he went on Twitter, and if you follow, I should say, the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, they put this on their Twitter account. Harold Reynolds is promoting the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, and it was absolutely cool. It was a really good spot, and obviously Harold Reynolds with MLB Network. I mean he's Harold freaking Reynolds, for crying out loud. He did a fantastic job with this, and I'm excited that MLB Network is going to be playing a big role in this. And a friend of the show, we haven't had him on in quite a while, Jonathan Mayo, who does a bang-up job with going through the draft. He's kind of like Mel Kiper is to the NFL draft, only Jonathan Mayo really knows his stuff. And he is just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to draft-eligible kids. And hopefully, knock on wood, Jonathan Mayo, who lives in the Pittsburgh area, hopefully he's going to be making his way over to the Mahoning Valley and checking in on a lot of Scrappers games. If he is, I mean, he's obviously going to have an open invite to sit in on my broadcast anytime he wants to because, well, he's Jonathan freaking Mayo, for goodness sakes. He does an unbelievably great job, and you see him when MLB Network does their draft coverage. Jonathan Mayo's front and center. And again, he's a friend of the show. I've known Jonathan for about 20 years, 15, 20 years. And he knows his stuff. And I'm sure that we'll probably see plenty of the Mayo at Eastwood Field when we get this thing started. I mean, this could be a lot of fun. And the beautiful thing is, Scrappers Baseball can be heard on ysnlive.com. Yours truly will be doing the games. And as I made mention, when this announcement was first made, DJ and the management at the Scrappers came up with a deal, and as I was told, hey, you want to do this, and I immediately jumped on this because, well, everyone knows I did minor league baseball, and it was fun, and I had a blast doing it. But in 2009, after the 2009 season, closed the door. Now, I didn't think that I would be doing any more quote-unquote professional baseball. But you never know. I mean, you never know what happens in life, and I'm excited for this. I am very excited for this. Now, technically, this isn't professional baseball because these kids are looking to get drafted. So it isn't professional baseball, but the talent level is going to far exceed the talent level that we have seen year in, year out from the New York Penn League. This talent level is going to far exceed the talent level that you saw in the New York Penn League. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And I think this is a great opportunity for Major League Baseball in these 6 cities that are going to be the home of this draft league. I think it's a golden opportunity for Major League Baseball to market this, and hopefully they do market this using the MLB Network and using all of the opportunities and all of the resources that Major League Baseball has. I hope that they are completely behind this and they market this, because if they do, man, does this have a chance to be an absolute grand slam for Major League Baseball. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. We'll take your phone calls in a bit as well. It is a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focused, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Happy opening day to our spring sports athletes in the state of Ohio. This will be the first time in 2 years that we have high school baseball and high school softball, along with track and field and all the other good stuff that we have with spring high school sports in the state of Ohio. Again, it's been a while since we've had some high school baseball and softball, and today, every Friday during baseball season, we will catch up with a number of high school baseball coaches. Coming up momentarily, we will hear from the head baseball coach over at Canfield, Gary Nittal. That's coming up at 1:10. Coming up at 2:20 this afternoon, we will hear from the head baseball coach of the Boardman Spartans, Joe Gabriel. And then at 2:40, Jim Ciambatti, the head baseball coach at Warren JFK, will be calling up the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, and we'll talk some Warren JFK baseball. And, as we made mention, baseball, softball, track and field, any spring sport, it's really tough for any of our so-called experts, and I can't even consider myself to be an expert on this one, mainly because we didn't have baseball last year. And this bears repeating. The last time we had baseball, high school baseball in this area, the current senior class, they were sophomores. We didn't have baseball last year. So if a team didn't have any sophomores or freshmen on their varsity roster and they weren't playing all that much, or they didn't have any freshmen and sophomores on their varsity roster in 2019, then that means you have an entirely brand new baseball team, because the sophomores are now seniors and the freshmen are now juniors. And that's what happens when you don't have baseball for 1 year. We made mention on this on Running Point every Thursday, and we had two softball coaches on yesterday. Many thanks again to Steve Ward from Austintown Fitch, Fred Moots from Boardman. They chimed in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline to talk about their teams. Today, we're going to have the head baseball coaches at Canfield, Boardman, and Warren JFK. And every Thursday, softball. Anthony Hartwig is in studio, and there isn't a guy that loves softball more than Anthony. And then every Friday, I'm in studio, and we'll talk some baseball with some area head coaches. So this can be an awful lot of fun, and that keeps us busy with the local stuff with softball and baseball. Softball every Thursday, baseball every Friday, amongst the other stuff that we talk about here at Running Points. Again, the big story. It broke about 2 hours ago. Tomorrow's college football game between Youngstown State and North Dakota. That game has been postponed. Apparently, one of the players from North Dakota tested positive for COVID, and there's no reason to try to play that game. What with the fact that everyone from North Dakota is now going to have to be tested, and who knows how that's going to turn out. So they've canceled the game for tomorrow. They've rescheduled it for April the 17th, Saturday, April the 17th. That game will start at 12 noon. It'll be at Stambaugh Stadium on the campus of Youngstown State University. Now, the beneficiary in this could very well be the teams that are playing high school baseball and high school softball. And, oh, by the way, Youngstown State University's baseball team, who happens to be playing, record-wise, the best team in the Horizon League this weekend. Wright State is coming to town. Single game this afternoon, doubleheader on Saturday. Game 1 getting underway at 1:30. Game 2 getting underway about 4:30. So tomorrow's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous, which makes the football game being canceled that much worse, because it was supposed to be absolutely beautiful tomorrow in the Mahoning Valley. But like I said, this could benefit the YSU baseball team in a big way, as the YSU baseball team is playing a doubleheader at Eastwood Field against Wright State. So now that the Penguins football game has been postponed, hightail it over to Eastwood to watch Youngstown State take on the best team record-wise in the Horizon League. And it'll be a really good challenge for the Penguins baseball team, and hopefully the Penguins will get a little retribution. It was a couple of weeks ago. The Penguins went to Dayton, and they were swept in a 4-game series by Wright State. Hopefully the Penguins will return the favor and take care of business against Wright State. Look, if we could take 3 out of 4 from those guys, that would be fantastic. Right now, the Penguins are 5 back in the loss column. The Penguins are 4-5 in the Horizon League standings. They're 4-5. Now, Wright State has played 12 games. Penguins have played 9. No, actually, they've played 8. I beg your pardon. They've played 8 games. They're 3-5. My mistake. The Penguins are 3-5 in the Horizon League, and they've played 8 games in the Horizon League with the baseball standings. Wright State has played 12 games, and Wright State is currently unbeaten in the Horizon League. So this will be a good test. This will be a very good test for the Penguins, and as I mentioned, if the Penguins can cut the deficit down a little bit. Let's say they take 3 out of 4 from Wright State. Well, then the Penguins would have 6 losses in the league, and Wright State would have 3 losses. So instead of being 5 out in the loss column, they would then be 3 out in the loss column, which would be a really, really good thing. All right, let's get to the phone lines where we are being joined by the head baseball coach of the Canfield Cardinals, Gary Nittal. He joins us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Coach, how are you today, sir?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing today,
I'm
Ron?
doing wonderful, and happy opening day to you, although I believe you guys open your season up tomorrow. Am I correct on that, or am I off?
We have our fingers crossed that we're going to be good to go for tomorrow. The weather looks great as long as Mother Nature takes it easy on us today.
Hey, listen, I think with the wind, all of the puddles and whatnot, they're going to be blown over to Lake Erie with all this wind going on. I mean, as long as it doesn't rain and it just keeps howling 35, 40 miles an hour, everything will be dried off by Saturday. And Saturday's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. This is the first time I've been coaching 20 years in high school around here, and we got all 4 scrimmages in this year. Our field's in great shape. We were just hoping that we don't get, hammered here real late, and our field's in good shape. So, like I said, I got my fingers crossed, and, with all the wind we have, absolutely, it should be good for everyone tomorrow.
Coach, I'm a big fan of the B League, and I saw an awful lot of 14U games and 16U games, being that I umpired most of the 14U games, and there were some kids that were playing for various teams that I found out. I said, hey, where are you going to school? And they said Canfield. And all these kids kept saying Canfield, and I was like, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, Canfield's going to be absolutely loaded for the next 3 or 4 years.
We're very fortunate when we run our program here that we get kids that go out and play summer baseball. And, unfortunately, that's not the way it is anymore. And a lot of our kids all play together. We do have some of our older kids that'll go out and play some travel ball, but a lot of them, they work their way up through 14U, 16U, and then, they'll split off, after that. But, we absolutely have great talent that comes through, and we're very fortunate that we have a great feeder system here in Canfield with our Little League and all the way up. So, it's hats off to them. I can't take all the credit for that. My son plays in Canfield CBC baseball, and I help coach when I can, which isn't as much as I'd like to because I've got another job coaching this high school team. But they do a great job in Canfield, and I'm very fortunate. And our coaching staff is very fortunate to have these kids come through.
Coach, obviously, last year was a clunker. Nobody had any sport whatsoever. Baseball was canceled. Every spring sport was canceled. And we've said ad nauseum, the last time we had baseball in the state of Ohio, your senior class were sophomores, your junior class were freshmen, your sophomores and freshmen were in junior high. It kind of makes things next to impossible to figure out what kind of a varsity team you're going to have, unless, of course, in 2019 you loaded your team up with sophomores and freshmen. To that point, then you've got an unbelievable team coming back.
You're right. It's funny that you say that, and it's ad nauseum. The questions asked. Yeah, we lost last year, and we told our kids. We're fortunate once again. I'd say 90% of our kids got to go play a lot of summer baseball, and a lot of it down at Scene. So we're fortunate in that aspect. They got a lot of games in last year. It might not have been at the high school, with their high school players, but, in a lot of them, we use that role as best we can. We got 4 guys on every team, and so a lot of them are playing together or against each other. And everyone's in the same boat. Hudson came in for a scrimmage the other day, and, we were talking, and their head coach, Buddy Dice, he's been coaching forever, and the first thing he says is, "You guys are loaded." And I said, "Well, we got one senior that has varsity experience. It's all on paper." And I tell our kids, you can't just go off your press clippings and what you might be. You got to show it on the field. And, they're going to have that opportunity here starting tomorrow. So we're pretty excited.
All right, Coach, I got to ask, because I'm a huge proponent of this. Look, I understand you have a nice league. You've got Fitch, you've got Boardman, you got Harding, you got Howland, and that's 8 conference games. You get a non-conference schedule. I'm a huge proponent of playing up in your non-conference, playing some of the best of the best of the best. What do you guys have in your non-conference schedule, other than the Boardmans, the Fitches, the Hardings, and the Allens that you'll be playing? Which, by the way, that's pretty solid. Those 8 games, because those 4 teams normally put together a pretty nice baseball team.
Once again, funny comment, because when we coach, I used to coach out at Springfield with Coach Beam and Coach Gabriel, and we were all together out there, and we always said, we might be a D3, D4 school, but we played Boardman, we played Austin, we played the big boys, and that always got us ready, when we got into tournament time. And, taking over here at Canfield, even before I got here, Coach Koenig always had a schedule that, we put it out to anyone. And when I say anyone, we've got Medina. We're playing Erie Cathedral Prep, which is probably the best school in Pennsylvania. They're coming down to Scene Park. We're going to play them there. We play Solon. I mean, we went through our schedule, and honest, and I'm not blowing smoke here, there is not a game that we can take off. Even, we've got South Range twice this year, which is nice because we're local. But there really is not a game on our schedule that I can, look at. We're playing Chardon up in Crusher Stadium up there in Avon this year. So, I mean, we load it up with whatever we can. We get all 27 in, and, we know it'll get us ready. And I tell our kids, we're going to take our lumps. As I said, we're young. I mean, our varsity roster, we got 7 seniors, but as I said, only 1 has varsity experience. 7 juniors, 7 sophomores, and 2 freshmen. So, I mean, it's pretty balanced. And like you said, those juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, this is their first inkling of varsity experience. So, coming out of the gate, we got to figure things out. And, and I'm sure you've been hearing, and I've been talking to coaches, this has just been one of those years. There's a lot of arm problems, starting with, unfortunately, with Jake Gearing at South Range, who I'm a huge fan of. Having to get Tommy John surgery and on down the line. Every team I talk to, it seems like one of their guys is done for the year, can't throw, and we're no different. We've got a lot of guys that are still working their way back. We've taken it really easy with them, and going into this season, we're going to take it easy on their arms. So, my concern really is, and I'm knocking on wood, this COVID situation, how it would affect. You lose one pitcher, and he's sitting at lunch with 4 other baseball guys, and now it's the pitching that I worry about. It's not, we can fill defensive positions in a lineup. It's just the pitching situation.
You bring up a really interesting point, and obviously this year with the rules that are in place, especially on chilly days where this is really going to be a bad thing for the pitchers. For those not aware, if a pitcher blows on his hand or licks his fingers, whether he's on the mound or off the mound, we immediately have to call timeout and get that ball out of his glove and out of his hands and get it is basically sanitized. So you are no longer going to be allowed to blow on your hand or make a circular motion on your within your fingers held inside the palm of your hand and blow on your fingers to warm them up. You're not going to be allowed to do that. You're not going to be allowed to lick your fingers because of COVID. And that's another part of the pitching that's going to be difficult if we have some chilly days in the spring. And you made mention the pitch counts. I got to believe, Coach, they're going to be obscenely low for the first couple of weeks, where 40, 50 pitches, hey, you're out of here, let's bring someone else in.
Number one, those 4 scrimmages, we were kind of hoping, just to see how that would work out. And we had pretty good weather those 4 days. So, I agree with you. When it's a 40-degree day out there and I pitched, and you go to your mouth. I mean, you got to have feel of a baseball. And, we've kind of worked with our pitchers and explained it to them. And And I don't know how that's going to work, on a day like that. There's going to be a lot of stoppages, and, talking to a couple of the umpires, and, it's going to be, hey, we're going to do what we got to do. But as far as our kids, and we've really got our pitch count up this year. We worked really hard in the off season and kind of started early knowing that this might be a situation. So some of the guys that we kind of penciled in as relievers, we kind of got their pitch count up. And we're really fortunate. We've got a lot of arms, and that we're confident in. And I know there are smaller schools. I talked to, Billy Sadler out at East Palestine. He told me how many kids he had in his program. And those are the ones that, I feel for, because I don't know how, early in the season, how he's going to manage his pitch count. Some of these smaller schools, really have a challenge ahead of them. So I can't complain there. We're in pretty good shape as far as our pitching and our pitch count going into the season. Now, things happen along the way, and, we'll play that by ear, but I feel pretty good where we're at right now.
I got to believe the hand warmers are going to be a huge thing. Those little hand warmers that you can put in a pocket, and then you just have the kid. And it sounds crazy, but it will actually be a benefit to anyone. You get a hand warmer, and you have the kid basically use it as a rosin bag.
And put it in your back pocket and put your hand in
exactly, and that's exactly what everyone should be pretty much investing on, is one or two of those bad boys, because they last 4 or 5 hours, and I think that's probably going to be the avenue that everyone should go down.
And it's funny you mention that, because our booster club president of our baseball program. His son is going to be our number one this year, and I probably will be talking to him this evening and saying, hey, we might need to invest. You might want to go out and buy these for the program, because that's actually a really good idea.
All right, we got to talk about the players that you have, and clearly, like you said, there's only a small handful of kids that have varsity experience due to what happened last year with no baseball. So let's talk a little bit about some of the talent that you do have, Coach.
We're fortunate, like I said. Our pitching staff is phenomenal. And what I'm about to say, I talked to the Hudson coach, and his eyes lit up. But, we have 3 committed Division I players already. In our senior class, Dominic Magliocca is committed to play at Miami University of Ohio. He'll go play the outfield down there for them. And then in our junior class, we have Nate Shaw, pitcher, but I'm going to talk more about him in a minute. He's committed to Wright State. And also in that junior class is Landon Beitelcheese, who's a left-handed pitcher, big lefty. Had a ton of offers. He lit up the radar gun at 91 and from the left side, and that's kind of all of a sudden I got about 50 phone calls. And he narrowed it down, and he's going to go to West Point. So he's got a fantastic opportunity ahead of him. In the sophomore class, and it's funny you mentioned they haven't played an inning of varsity baseball, and Ben Slanker, who's going to be in the outfield, he's battling some arm issues right now. He's just starting his throwing program, but he's got offers from Wright State, Xavier, Penn State has talked to him, Miami of Ohio, Kent State, and A.J. Havarilla, also in that sophomore class, has got an offer from YSU, and Ohio State has a little interest in him. So, I've been doing this a long time, and, to have sophomores getting, haven't played an inning of high school baseball and getting these looks, like I said, we're fortunate in that aspect. But when you look at pitching, back to the conversation I had with the Hudson coach, we were going to throw Nate Shaw for 2 innings, and I told him, I said, he's committed to Wright State, and then I told him, I said, he's not our 1 or our 2. He's going to be, the end of the week guy, non-league game guy, because he has sacrificed himself to play shortstop for us. And it works out in our schedule that way he can be at short all week. He'll throw on Friday, have Saturday, Sunday off to rest, and then he goes back to short for him. So, not too many teams are in a situation where they can take a kid that's committed to a Division I program to pitch and have him pitch on the weekend or on a Thursday or Friday for you. But we're able to do that because, Landon Cheese is going to be our anchor. Ryan Petro, you've probably seen him down at Scene. He plays with the Astro Falcons. And Jake Gerdick and Connor Miller are going to be our four that we're going to probably rely on in our league games. And like I said, Nate will be down at the end. And then you saw Jake Schneider. He's a freshman, lefty, big lefty. He's going to be some relief for us. Jamison Beck, Luke Holland, Alex Iannazaro. I mean, we're very fortunate, like I said, pitching-wise at the varsity level, that we've got arms and we should be able to, mix and match them pretty well. So that kind of wraps up our pitching. And then our other strength is our outfield. We got the Dom Agliaka is going to be our center fielder, who's going to Miami. Ben Slanker, who's the sophomore that I talked about, he'll be in the outfield. And then you got Gianni Gaetano, who is a senior that is going to step up this year and probably fill that third spot. And then we got other guys, Brock Lowry. You know that name from football. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's going to find his way on the field in the outfield. Josh Giuliano is probably Richie Giuliano's brother. You know Richie. Josh is phenomenal, great center fielder. We're just so log-jammed in the outfield. Colin Burdette, Steven Zordic, Drew Carosi, and a lot of them have arm issues. So it's nice that we're able to, rest those guys that can't get out there right now and get their arms where they need to be. In the infield, Ryan Petro will be on the left side playing third when he's not on the mound. Alex Iannazaro, as I said, who will pitch for us, he'll be our third baseman probably. A.J. Havarilla was our third baseman, but he's been nursing an injury, so he's going to move over to the right side and play second base a lot. Landon Cheese, when he's not on the mound, will be at first base, big bat. Senior Luke Holland will be over there, and then Nate Shaw is going to be anchoring us at shortstop. Our one concern this year is I tell everyone, you're only as good as your catcher. And we have two. One's a senior and one's a freshman. And the senior, with not having last year and having that experience, this is going to be his first time behind the plate in Vinny Machuga. And we also have a fantastic freshman named Michael Patella that is going to probably, they're going to rotate early in the year and just get some work in there just in case, one falters or whatever. And then the one name that I've left out is a name that should sound familiar to all your listeners out there is and he is a DH, and that is Chris Amaran. You've seen him on the football field, but the intensity he brings to our baseball program is unmatched, and he's a leader. He came out last year and ripping the cover off the baseballs. We scrimmaged South Range, had 4 doubles, and was rearing to go. And then the next day we get shut down, and we weren't sure if he was going to come back for his senior year. And as soon as football season was over, he sent me a text. He's like, "When's baseball start, Coach?" And we love him, and he's going to lead this whole team, being that senior leader that we need. And that's that's our roster, that's our lineup. And like I said, they might not have a lot of varsity experience, but they've played a lot of baseball, and I think we're going to be a fun group to watch. We should be very talented offensively, 1 through 9. This is by far the deepest offensive team that I've ever coached. So I'm pretty excited.
Gary Nittal, the head baseball coach at Canfield High School, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Well, let's just see that. In short, kids, pitching, check. Defense, check. Offense, check. Coaching, check. Canfield's going to be an awful lot of fun to watch, and no pressure or anything, but hopefully in a couple of months we can start making reservations for a date at Canal Park in Akron, Ohio.
That's our motto. Our team thing is Road to Canal, and these kids, Nate Shaw came up with the idea. It's our group text, and I do want to take a moment, and I do got to think. I could not do this alone, and I don't do this alone. My coaching staff, you mentioned it, coaching staff, Rick Avarilla might be the best coach around from any level. I got to play with Rick. I mean, he was a Cheney guy, I was a Boardman guy, but we were, graduated the same year, so, we kind of came up, and he was the first person I called and said, "Hey, let's do this." And he was a little hesitant at first because he had his oldest son, Ricky, was a senior, and he didn't want to, step in. And I said, "Hey, he solidified his spot there." And then he was worried about his other son, AJ, and I said, "He's going to let his bat do the talking. You don't need to worry about that." Jason Morrell is another phenomenal guy. that we have on our staff, and I think we have the best pitching coach in the area in Pat O'Brien, who his glory days at YSU, and I got to coach him in high school. And when he came aboard, I love what we have, and even on down to our lower levels, Andrew Sabella and Chance Merlin, Steve Richards, Ryan Halicki. We just got a great group, a great coaching staff, and I couldn't be more thankful for the situation that we're in.
Coach, the baseball in this area, as I have made mention, over the last 10 years, we have had as much or more representation in the state semifinals in the sport of baseball than we have had in football. And that when I say that to people, they look at me with a quizzical look on my face as if to say, you got to be kidding me, because we're best known for our football. But it's true. Over the last 10 years, now, unfortunately, we didn't have baseball in 2020, but we have had more representation in the state semifinals and the state finals in baseball than in football. This is becoming a hotbed of talent in this area on a statewide level. We have some really impressive talent around here.
We do. I mean, we do. Every year, the state puts out All-American lists, and I start, compiling my list, and I send in from the area. I mean, you look at a South Range. I mean, they've got 2 kids committed to Ohio State and a third one that could be very well on that pace. You got, we've got, we talk about it all the time. I joke with Coach Pav all the time, like, hey, we got 5 guys that are D1 guys. When's the last time you guys played Division I football? We joke around and so forth, and I'm like, I can go team by team. Lakeview's got. I mean, I could name a team, and I can name a kid that's going to play Division I baseball, and that's hard to say anymore with football. And I was a football coach, and and fortunate I got to coach at Liberty and have a Fitzgerald Toussaint, but you don't see a whole lot of those. Like I said, it's the numbers have went down across the area. Small schools have gotten smaller, and it gives those smaller schools an opportunity. In baseball, I think that football is just a little more difficult.
Well, we have a handful of representation that through the years have made it to Major League Baseball. I think we're more known baseball-wise on the Major League level for producing pitchers, though we have produced a couple of everyday players. Andy Costco is probably the biggest known name. He and Shotgun Shuba are the biggest known names, everyday players. In 10 or 15 years, that might change. I'm just saying.
I hope you can't forget Mark Malaska. I mean, he's got a ring. So, I always tell that story, and you mentioned like a Dominic Polali, who he's on draft boards, a graduate from 2 years ago, playing down at UNC Charlotte. They got him as like, in the top 70 prospects down there, and we look for things out of him. And Landon Beitelcheese has all the upside. I just got to make sure that, and there's a kid that just can't, he's another one. When he committed, he had never pitched a varsity inning. He was coming into his junior year. He didn't pitch at all his freshman year because he had some arm issues. And last year was going to be a sophomore year. He was going to get the shot, but he had such a great summer and progressed so much that his upside is, talking to a couple scouts. He's going to go actually play in the East Coast Pro, which you have to be nominated by an MLB scout to go down and play on it, which means you're on the radar. And to think that he's only a junior, he's still got this year and next year to build off of what he has. The sky's the limit for him.
Hey, all the best to you, and I look forward to, hopefully, knock on wood, seeing your JV and your freshman product on the field as an umpire. But man, I look forward to seeing Canfield play as much as I can. I know you guys are loaded, and there's going to be an awful lot of expectation and i.e. pressure put on the kids to make a very, very deep run in Division II. But I know that you'll pull the reins back when you need to with this team. We open with Salem, and speaking of which, I didn't even mention this team because it's our second game of the season is Akron-Hovind, and Akron-Hovind, you want to talk about a team that's loaded with Division I commitments. They got Sean Purnell, who's going to Cincinnati. We're either going to see him or we're going to see a kid by the name of, remember this name, Noah Lafine. He's a 15-year-old. He's a freshman, but he's already committed to Vanderbilt as a pitcher.
So, like I said, we come right out, and they're in Division II. We're going to hopefully see them down the road. And, I didn't even mention them as one of the games. But, we understand, first of all, it's game by game. Our kids do understand that, and they understand that it is a learning process. And, you can't just expect to get, 3 out of the last 4 years we've been to the regional finals and ran into a Talmadge buzzsaw. And I tell them, it's not easy to get back there, the younger guys. And then you lose last season. We had 6 seniors that were nipping at the bud to, get back at that, and they lost out on that. So, it's one game at a time. The one thing we're fortunate enough, we were lucky enough to beat Gavin Bruni, who is, they got him. He's a kid, if you're not familiar with him, from Alliance, that just threw 96 from the left side the other day. And he'd probably get drafted out of high school. We were lucky to get by him, and then, Poland surprised us in the district finals. And I told him, you can't take anything for granted. And we're going to see Alliance this year. They move up to Division I, but we got them on our schedule, and I know we're going to see Gavin Bruni. So, we're preparing ourselves. The kids just got to, they put the work in. It's just they've got to mentally be there and understand that baseball's not always ups. There's going to be ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and you just got to ride it out.
Well, as I've told a lot of people, baseball is the only sport where you can fail 7 out of 10 times and be a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. It's hard for a 16 and 17-year-old to understand that, which is tough, when they get into a slump that, and the other thing they don't understand, and we had this talk the other day, is one of our kids had 2 screaming lineouts. And then the next kid comes up and squibs one, and he's at first base. And I said, on the stat sheet, it's going to show 1 for 1. He batted 1,000, you went 0 for 2. But the reality is, deep down, you hit it on the screws, you just hit it right at somebody. And once again, that's still hard for a 16-year-old to kind of understand that. They just want to look at stats. And I said, stats aren't going to take you to a state championship. A team will. And you guys got to pick each other up. So I think we're there. It's just, we're just ready, nipping at the bud. I'm giddy. I'm ready for tomorrow. And I know our kids are, because they keep hitting up I think while we're doing this, I got about 10 text messages from them. So they're ready for practice.
Hey, Coach, all the best to you. Look forward to seeing your team play this year, and I'm excited for you and the Canfield program this year.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it, and look forward to probably seeing you at some point this
Oh,
week.
yeah, you will. You definitely will. I don't know how much forward you're going to be looking at when my blind ass starts calling some things against you, but hey, whatever.
It's part of the game. All part of the game.
Always a pleasure, Skip.
Thank you, Ron. Take care.
See ya. Gary Nittal, the head baseball coach of the Canfield Cardinals, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. That is going to be a fun baseball team to watch. And I made mention when I saw all of these kids, 14U, 16U, and I'm asking some of these kids. I mean, you want to strike up a conversation with them, and I'm asking these kids, well, where are you going to school? Oh, Canfield. I'm like, Jesus, Canfield's going to be absolutely loaded this year. Sure enough, they're going to be a fun team to watch. But as Coach said, expectation is only as good as you play. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but if your talent isn't producing on game day, you're not going to be where you want to be at the end of the season. So, it's nice to have this wonderful team on paper, but paper don't win you baseball games. Paper's just something to talk about. Reality is, you got to prove it on the field before you even think about calling yourself a great product. All right, we'll take a timeout, be back with more. It's a Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0000 888-328-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes!
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Bad credit, no problem. I can get you approved for a low-interest loan and maybe even a low-payment lease on a new car at the #1 Chevy dealership in Trumbull County for 3 years in a row. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved or come see me, Tony Page, to get a new vehicle today. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. While we were speaking with the head baseball coach of the Canfield Cardinals, Coach Nittal, two blockbuster deals in the National Football League just came storming by. The NFL draft has now taken a turn upside down. The San Francisco 49ers, owned by the DeBartolo family, well, Denise DeBartolo York and her husband, Boardman and Cardinal Mooney High graduate Denise DeBartolo York. The San Francisco 49ers have acquired the number 3 overall pick from the Miami Dolphins. Adam Schefter is reporting that the 49ers are going to send the number 12 pick, their first-round pick, the number 12 overall, as well as their third-rounder, that would be number 102 overall, along with first-round picks in 2022 and 2023. So the 49ers have sent first-round draft picks for the next 3 years and a third-rounder to Miami for the third pick in the 2021 draft. So Miami goes from 3 to 12. Well, Miami was going to be picking number 12 in the coming draft. And then came the Philadelphia Eagles, who decided to make a deal with the Miami Dolphins as well. So the Eagles have traded picks number 6 and 156 to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to be giving up the 12th pick, which was San Francisco's. It is now Philadelphia's. They're going to be trading away the number 123 pick overall and one of their first-round draft choices in 2022. So the Dolphins are trading away the number 12 pick, which they just got moments ago in the San Francisco deal. They're giving up what I believe to be a third-round or a fourth-round draft pick and a 2022 first-round draft pick. In exchange, the Eagles are going to get the Dolphins from number 12 to number 6, and the Eagles are going to be giving up a fifth-round draft pick as well. So the Eagles give Miami their sixth pick and their fifth-round draft pick, and the Dolphins will give up the 12th pick overall, a fourth-round draft pick, and a 2022 first-round pick. Now, I don't know if that's theirs or San Francisco's, because, as we mentioned, San Francisco gave up first-round draft picks in 2022 as well as 2023 in the deal that got San Francisco from number 12 to number 3. So the 49ers have put themselves in a position where they are going to be picking third. Now, depending on what the New York Jets do with that second pick, whether they are going to stay with Sam Darnold and decide, hey, we're going to stay with Darnold and we're going to build around him, or if they take the kid from BYU or the kid from Ohio State and decide to trade Darnold away. Now, unfortunately for the Jets, the San Francisco 49ers they're not in the market for a quarterback. I'm going to tell you right now, the 49ers are getting a quarterback with the number 3 overall pick. That's what they're going to do. They are going to be taking a quarterback, unless, of course, they decide, hey, we're going to keep Jimmy G, at which point, why the hell are you giving up all of this talent and all of this capital to go from number 12 to number 3? No. They're taking a quarterback with the third pick overall. They just are. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. But two major trades in the National Football League draft. Miami started about a half an hour ago. Miami was picking 12th. Picking third, and now they're going to be picking number 6. They originally traded the third pick overall in the draft to San Francisco, picked up 3 first-round draft picks, one this year, one next year, one the following year, and then they went from 12 to 6 in a deal in which they had to give up one of their first-round draft picks in 2022, but they go from 12 to 6. So Miami is still going to be in a pretty decent position. And they've also picked up some extra draft pieces. The 49ers go all the way up to number 3. It's going to be crazy to see what happens. And here are the Jets at number 2 with an unbelievable decision ahead of them. Do they stay with Sam Darnold and try to get some talent around him, or do they take the quarterback from BYU and then trade Sam Darnold away for some more draft capital? I don't think you get a first-round pick. Maybe you get a late first-round pick for Darnold. It all depends on where you try to trade Sam Darnold to. And well, San Francisco's not going to take him because they just traded for the number 3 pick overall. So now you got to figure out, all right, where do you want Sam Darnold to go? And clearly, if you're putting Sam Darnold into a contender's hands, then Darnold is a backup quarterback. Do you try to put Sam Darnold into a situation? Let's look at it. Jacksonville's get the number 1 pick. They're not going to go Darnold. They have the number 1 pick. They're going to go Lawrence. So they're out of the equation. Houston might need a quarterback, depending on what happens to Deshaun Watson and his legal issues. Cleveland could use a backup quarterback to Baker Mayfield. Now, just between you and me, Sam Darnold's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. And if Sam Darnold had Baker Mayfield's toys that he has in Cleveland, he'd have better numbers. But that's just my opinion. If Mayfield goes down, what do you got? You're SOL if you're Cleveland. Would you trade for a Sam Darnold and have Darnold as a backup quarterback? I got to be honest with you. If I'm Cleveland, that possibility is something that would be worth thinking about. Because if, God forbid, something happens to Baker Mayfield, Cleveland's pretty much screwed. Because you don't have a really good backup. Now, I'll say this, with Buffalo, they picked up Mitch Trubisky for a song and a dance. Well, everyone moans and groans about how bad Trubisky is. Well, look, Trubisky did lead the Chicago Bears to a couple of playoff appearances. Now, I'm not saying that he's a fantastic quarterback, but if something, God forbid, something happens to Josh Allen, you do have a quarterback that has taken a team to a playoff before. Now, obviously, it would be a disaster, but at least you would have a decent backup who has done a couple of decent things in the National Football League. Cleveland doesn't have that. You get past Baker, and their backup quarterback, it's a steep drop. If I'm Cleveland, I would be willing to throw down my second-round pick for Darnold. I think you would probably have to pay a little bit more for that, being that Cleveland is picking 26th in the draft. Be curious to see what happens. But, the 49ers are now picking third in the NFL draft thanks to a monster-sized deal with the Miami Dolphins. And then the Dolphins went from 12 as they flip-flopped first-round picks with the 49ers. 49ers gave Miami 2 more first-round draft picks. But the Dolphins went from the 12th pick to the 6th pick. They got back into the top 6 as they made a deal with Philadelphia. Philadelphia picking up an extra first-round draft pick in 2022, amongst other things. So that was going on while we had our conversation with the head baseball coach of the Canfield Cardinals. And by the way, speaking of, our next conversation will be with Joe Gabriel from Boardman. That will be coming up at 2:20 this afternoon. We'll talk Boardman Spartans baseball with the head baseball coach of the Spartans, Joe Gabriel, coming up at 2:20. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. Take a time out, be back with more. It's a Friday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
A severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Save more during the Extra Mile Auto Show with employee pricing for everyone on some of our most popular models. Plus, get an additional $1,000 on the value of your trade. Schedule a test drive today to experience the 2021 lineup for yourself.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you. News coming out of spring training with the Indians, being that we're 6 days away from the start of the 2021 Major League Baseball season. We made mention during the course of spring training that there were going to be some decisions made by the Indians that were going to be head scratchers because of some various things going on with players out of options and other players that have options, and it was determined today that the Cleveland Indians have announced Jake Bauers will be the first baseman for the Cleveland Indians. Now, there's no question that Bobby Bradley outplayed Jake Bauers in spring training. Let there be no doubt that Bobby Bradley outplayed Jake Bauers this entire spring training. He did. However, Jake Bauers has no options left. If the Indians were to give Bobby Bradley the first base job and there was no room for Bauers on the 26-man roster, they would have to expose Jake Bauers to the waiver wire for a period of 72 hours and hope and pray that nobody picks him up. And then if nobody picks him up, then he's off the 40-man roster and he can go to AAA Columbus. The Indians did not want to take that risk. That's the reason why Jake Bauers is going to be the Indians' opening day first baseman, and Bobby Bradley is going to be staying in Arizona, one would imagine, just basically playing tune-up ball as the minor league season is not going to start until May. So a lot of guys are not going to be immediately going to their minor league home. They're probably going to be staying in Goodyear, and they're going to wind up playing some exhibition games to keep sharp with some of the other teams that are that are in the Phoenix area. And I would imagine there's going to be a lot of AAA kids that are going to be staying in the Phoenix area. I think there's 14 or 15. I think there's 14 Cactus League teams and 16 teams in Florida. Either 16 in Arizona, 14 in Florida, or 14 in Arizona, 16 in Florida. Be that as it may, there's going to be a lot of teams, 14 or 16 teams worth of AAA, AA, high A, and low A teams that are going to be hanging around before they move them to their homes and start the minor league baseball season in the month of May. Bobby Bradley did not make the team. And the main reason why he did not make the team, as I mentioned, Bobby Bradley has options left. I believe he has one or two options left. And for those wondering, one option equals 1 year. You can go up and down as many times as you want to. One option equals 1 year. So Bobby Bradley had at least one option left. I believe he has two options left. He is not going to be making the opening day roster. I can tell you some other players that are not, and this particular one surprises me a great deal. Bradley Zimmer is not going to be your opening day center fielder for the Cleveland Indians. That surprises the hell out of me. Bradley Zimmer, Blake Parker, Anthony Gose, Kyle Nelson, Bobby Bradley, they all did not make the opening day roster. Oliver Perez and Brian Shaw have both made the opening day roster. They will both be in the bullpen. Yu Chang is going to be the super utility infielder. He has made the opening day roster. Jake Bauers is going to be your opening day first baseman. Here's where things get a little interesting. The Indians are trying to sort out the center field position. Bradley Zimmer is not going to be making the team. So who's left in center field? Oscar Mercado did not make this team. The only two kids that are out there that have played center field this year to this point, and again, Daniel Johnson is also a player that is not going to be on the Indians opening day roster. There are two kids left that played center field this year for the Indians in spring training ball. Ben Gamble, who was a non-roster invitee, he spent some time in center field this year. And the young man that the Indians picked up in the Francisco Lindor deal that has started his career as a shortstop, they moved him to center field just recently. Ahmed Rosario. Ahmed Rosario is on the opening day roster, and one would guess he is going to be playing center field. This is going to be entertaining to say the least. Center field is going to be a very interesting position. It's going to be a really, really interesting position, to say the least. But as far as Jake Bauers and Bobby Bradley is concerned, and I will tell you the exact reason why Bauers is on the opening day roster and he'll be the opening day first baseman and Bobby Bradley isn't. It's simply because Bobby Bradley has options left. They can move him up and down as many times as they want to this year, and I believe he has two options left, so next year would be his last option. Jake Bauers has no options left. This is, and let me just say this. This is not to say that this is etched in stone that Bauers is going to be there from now until the end of the season. That's not the case. I think the Indians are at the point right now where they're basically willing to say, hey, we're not ready to let go of Jake Bauers and admit that Jake Bauers is not the answer. The Indians are not willing to say that right now. So they're giving Bauers that opportunity to play. And truth be told, I know a lot of people don't like this decision. I got to be honest with you. This is the right decision for the Indians. And I understand people are going to be, well, wait a second. Bradley clearly outplayed Bauers. How the hell is this the right decision? It's the right decision in terms of you got to take a gamble. And if you believe Bauers is capable of being the 280 hitter, 15 bombs, 75, 80 RBI, and I don't know if the Indians believe that or not, but the Indians surely believe that he is a Major League Baseball player. And they believe this. So because they believe this, that's why they have him as the opening day first baseman. They're going to give him this opportunity. If it does not work and Bauers gets off to a ridiculously poor start, then the Indians are going to be looking at the decision that they made. If Bauers doesn't cut the mustard, he ain't going to stay in Cleveland. He just won't. they'll DFA him and they'll bring up Bobby Bradley. And it'll be very interesting to see how much rope Jake Bauers is going to be given. It is going to be very interesting to see how much rope Gamble and Rosario, your center field platoon, is going to get, because Zimmer's in the minors, Mercado's in the minors, Daniel Johnson is in the minors, 3 guys that can play center field. They're all in the minors, and the same decisions. They all have options left. Gamble doesn't have any options left. Gamble's a guy that was a spring training non-roster invitee. It was sink or swim with him. And Rosario, they just acquired him from the New York Mets, and they truly believe that Rosario can play center field. It's pretty damn clear that the Indians believe Ahmad Rosario can play center field. Whether they're right or not, I don't know. I honestly don't know. The kid is athletic enough where he can play the position. It's just going to take repetition. And we'll see if the kid can play this position on the major league level when the game starts for real in 6 days. But Ahmad Rosario and Mr. Gamble are your platoon center fielders. And Jake Bauers has won the first base job with Bobby Bradley starting the season back in Arizona. And how long they go with Bauers, I don't know. We'll take a timeout. On the other side, we'll hopefully hear from the head baseball coach of the Boardman Spartans. By the way, before we go to break, Andre Drummond and the Cavaliers have agreed to a contract buyout moments ago. He's expected to decide by early next week where Drummond will wind up going. But Andre Drummond and the Cavaliers have agreed to a contract buyout. So Andre Drummond's days with the Cleveland Cavaliers are now officially over. All right, we'll take a timeout. Be back with more. Stick around. It's a Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Plenty of stuff going on around the Cleveland area. Again, the Cavaliers and Andre Drummond have agreed to a buyout. So Andre Drummond's days with the Cleveland Cavaliers officially comes to an end. They have agreed, Andre Drummond and the Cavaliers have agreed to a contract buyout with the two-time All-Star. Also, news breaking about a half an hour or so ago, Bobby Bradley, Kyle Nelson, and Bradley Zimmer have all been optioned. Jake Bowers is going to get his first shot, or he gets the chance at first base for the Indians. Make no mistake, Bradley outplayed Bowers, but again, the fact that Jake Bowers has no options left, the Indians believe that Jake Bowers is a Major League Baseball player, and they do not want to get rid of him at this point. The fact that Bobby Bradley has at least one option left, I believe he has two, but at least one, they have optioned him to AAA ball. The Bradley Zimmer option is the one that is a head scratcher. Zimmer's been optioned, Mercado is optioned, Daniel Johnson is optioned. Arguably, you could say that's the future Indians outfield. You could probably put Johnson in right, Zimmer in center, and Mercado in left, or Zimmer in left, Mercado in center, Daniel Johnson in right. I mean, you can arguably say, hey, that's the future Indians outfield. Well, yes and no. Right now, Gamble and Ahmad Rosario are going to be your center fielders, but probably in a platoon. Those two kids are going to be your center fielders, probably in a platoon. And I know that, folks that saw Rosario commit 3 errors in a half of a game are probably wondering what the hell the Indians are doing. Look, at some point in time, everyone should probably just sit back and keep in mind that this front office has been pretty damn brilliant with their decisions. This team has done quite well for themselves the last few years. So I think the front office has been given and has probably earned people's trust, or at least one would think that they have earned their people's trust. So earlier today, it was announced that the YSU football game with North Dakota, that has been postponed. One of the members from the North Dakota football team, one of the players, had tested positive, I should say, for COVID. They had tested positive for COVID, and there was no sense in trying to put any of the other players at risk. So the game has been postponed for tomorrow. It will be made up on April the 17th. That is a 12 noon game on April the 17th, and that'll be at Stambaugh Stadium on the campus of Youngstown State University, as the Penguins will play North Dakota. That game will be a makeup on April the 17th. April the 17th at 12 noon at Stambaugh Stadium. Youngstown State will play North Dakota. The game tomorrow has been postponed because a member of the North Dakota football team tested positive for COVID, so tomorrow's game is postponed. Now, the good news is if you are looking to see YSU's baseball team play, well, they have a doubleheader at Eastwood. Game 1 will start at 1:30, and the nightcap will get underway at approximately 4:30. And tomorrow is supposed to be an absolutely gorgeous day for baseball. So if you want to go watch Youngstown State take on, record-wise, the best team in the Horizon League in Wright State, off to a 12-0 start, and the Penguins looking for a little retribution as they're hoping to take the baseball bat to Wright State this weekend. And hopefully they get 3 out of 4. Well, in a perfect world, hopefully they sweep Wright State. I'll be happy for 3 out of 4. If they can get 3 out of 4 from Wright State, that would be phenomenal. Game 1 is this afternoon. Doubleheader on Saturday. Game 1 at 1:30. Game 2 at 4:30. And then Sunday afternoon, the finale of the 4 games series with Wright State. And again, the doubleheader tomorrow up at Eastwood Field. All 4 of the games are going to be at Eastwood Field. But now that the YSU football Penguins are not playing tomorrow, I would wholeheartedly invite everyone to go up to Eastwood to watch the YSU baseball team take on Wright State. Speaking of baseball, we will be chatting with the head baseball coach of the Boardman Spartans, Joe Gabriel. That's coming up in just a bit. We'll take a timeout and get yourself ready for that. Our conversation with the head baseball coach of Boardman, Joe Gabriel. That's coming up in just a bit. Stick around. It is a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Bad credit, no problem. I can get you approved for a low-interest loan and maybe even a low-payment lease on a new car at the #1 Chevy dealership in Trumbull County for 3 years in a row. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved or come see me, Tony Page, to get a new vehicle today. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline not open for business right now. It will be momentarily. 330-886-0813. That is the number to call. Happy opening day to the spring athletes for high school sports in the state of Ohio. Didn't have spring sports last year, unfortunately, and we've made mention of this an awful lot. It's really going to be difficult to figure out who has what in terms of who's going to be talented and who's going to be struggling. Not just talent-wise, numbers-wise, it's easier to determine depending on how many kids are going out for the chosen sports, but talent-wise, it's going to be really difficult to determine who has what until you've seen a few teams play. We will be hearing, or I should say we heard from the head baseball coach at Canfield, Gary Nittal. He came on board a little after 1 o'clock today to talk about Canfield. Canfield has an impressive amount of talent that will be putting on the Cardinal uniform this year. And again, with the B League, you have a lot of kids that play in the summer leagues. Depending on what program you have, there's some kids that comes from some high school programs that love using the B League as their summer league. Another program that loves the B League is Boardman. Saw an awful lot of kids from Boardman taking part in B League last summer. And to talk about the Boardman Spartans, we bring on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, the head baseball coach of the Boardman Spartans, Joe Gabriel. Coach, how are you today, sir?
Good. How are you, Ron?
I'm doing wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about the Spartans. I mean, historically, Boardman year in, year out, they're a tremendous baseball program. You guys, you have a great summer league within the township. I can remember as a kid growing up, the Boardman Park used to have some just state-of-the-art facilities when I was a kid, and that's, going back into the days pre-electricity, I guess. Talk a little bit about the baseball program, even before you get the kids into high school in Boardman, because it's spectacular.
Yeah, they do. Greg Krieger runs Field of Dreams out there in Boardman off of McClurg Road, and they do a great job out there at the youth level. And obviously, our kids start, very young, and they're able to play at some great fields and a great facility throughout their career as young kids. And then, obviously we get them when they get into the high school, but they do a great job. And then you have, obviously Scene Park down in Struthers, and they do a great job as well. So our kids have a lot of different opportunities, and, we love that they're able to have those opportunities.
Whenever I see the Boardman Little League team make a run, as they have in the past, trying to get to the Little League World Series, and they go to the state level, and then sometimes they've won a state title, and they go to the regional level, which is pretty phenomenal in and of its own right. I always think to myself, okay, in about 4 years, these kids are going to be going to Boardman, and the high school team is going to be absolutely unbelievable. So let's talk a little bit about Boardman. Obviously, you didn't have baseball last year. Nobody did. Did you have any of the juniors or seniors play varsity baseball the last time we had baseball in this state?
I actually had 3 sophomores that played, so that's dating back. They're seniors this year, obviously. Nate Fleming, Marco Stiliana, and Ty Ventresco. Those 3 guys saw significant time as sophomores, but that's it. Other than those 3 guys, everyone else in the lineup is going to be brand new to varsity baseball. So, we're looking forward to getting on the field and getting going.
Is this going to be more of a teaching year, more teaching than normal, Coach?
Yeah, I think we definitely focus more on, I would say, fundamental stuff. Not that we don't focus on that in the past, or haven't focused on that in the past. It's just I think we drove that home a lot more this year than normal, just to get guys going again and get them doing the right things, because they've had such a long layoff. I mean, yes, they played summer baseball, but they also missed an entire year of high school baseball, that's a lot.
A lot of arm problems have been circulating around the area, and when you don't have high school baseball in 2020, boy, that is certainly become a hot topic. Lots of kids around the area have experienced some arm problems. Are you guys okay in Boardman?
Knock on wood, so far we are, yeah. We haven't had anything yet, and I'm hoping we don't. And I think that our pitching coach and our pitchers do a good job of kind of taking it easy early, and we kind of just take our time into pitch count and just allow those guys to build their arm strength up.
Normally the weather around here is so hit and miss that kids normally don't get to play an entire preseason schedule. Did you guys get all your scrimmages in?
We did. We got our 4 scrimmages in, and it's definitely helpful. A lot of times we'll save 1 or 2 for more towards the end of the year, but we felt like this year in particular it was important to play all 4 early on, just to get our reps and to get our back on our feet.
Joe Gabriel, the head baseball coach at Boardman, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. And Skip, you know this as well as I do. I absolutely love teams that schedule up. And we were speaking with the head baseball coach over at Canfield last hour. Solid division you guys are in. You play Canfield twice a year, Fitch twice a year, Harding twice a year, Hallen twice a year. That leaves you with 19 non-conference games. Give me some of the heavy hitters that you'll be playing in your non-conference schedule this year.
Yeah, we always like to play up. We play St. Edwards. We play North Canton Hoover. We play Twinsburg. Who else? We play Nordonia. And let's see here. Who else do we got on the out of conference? Those guys alone, and we usually will have like more Federal League teams will be on there. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who else, but
that's an impressive list to begin with, Skip. That really is.
Yeah, we definitely like to play up. We're in Division I still, so we're a smaller Division I school in terms of enrollment and size, but those are the teams we're going to have to play when we get into tournament time. So we like to try and we like to schedule them.
What's the strength of your team, or what do you think is the strength of your team coming into this season?
I would say pitching and defense. We have a lot of depth at pitching, and defensively, I really like us up the middle, and really at the corners even this year. I feel like we defensively, I think we can definitely pick it a little bit.
Well, those are 2 big things that you got to have for tournament success. You got to have the pitching, and you got to be able to make sure that you don't extend the inning, giving up an out or 2, and committing an error and giving the opposing team an extra out or 2, I should say.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. We we preach that in practice all the time. We cannot give extra outs. Got to keep pitchers' pitch counts low. All those things kind of go into the defensive part, like you said.
Hey, talk a little bit about the facilities that you have at Boardman High School.
We have a hitting facility in the weight room, a couple cages that we drop down. We also have, with obviously this great weather that we've had, we've been able to use our field a lot. And we also have the turf, which has baseball lines in it, so we're able to get out on the turf for sure a little earlier than probably, some other schools that might not have the turf. So once we kind of are official and can hit the ground running, we definitely try and utilize the turf any chance we get.
All right, opening day is actually teams can play baseball beginning today. What's your schedule look like? When are you guys playing your first game of the season?
We play Marlington at Marlington tomorrow, and then we have Fitch on Monday and Tuesday.
Is that going to be a home and home with Fitch?
Yeah. Monday is at Boardman and Tuesday is at Fitch.
Yeah, that's nothing like getting the league started with your old rival.
Yeah, we definitely. It doesn't start off very easy, does it, Ron? In the conference?
No, definitely not. Hey, you talked about your seniors, and obviously last year with nobody playing baseball. How much are you relying on the seniors that you have that had that time in 2019?
Oh, we're relying immensely on them. Nate Fleming's, he's our center fielder, so he's a middle guy. He's a top of the order guy. Same with Ty Ventresco. He's our starting first baseman. He's a top of the order guy. And Marco Stiliana is our left fielder. And again, he's batting in the sixth hole at least to start the season. So those three guys, and even from a leadership standpoint, those guys are pretty vocal guys, and we will definitely look for them to lead the way.
Well, Skip, I know you have an amazing coaching staff. I was the umpire for the JV game against Streetsboro. You guys played a game over at Field of Dreams, and I noticed that you have quite a coaching staff and quite a number of high caliber guys on your coaching staff. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I always have. And this year in particular, we had to replace a couple really good guys. I had Scott Knox in the past and Bob Beam. Both of those guys I had to replace this year, and I replaced Eric Barone and Jason Treveri. And then I have Coach Popio Sr. and Coach Mingo on the varsity staff as well. And then I think you saw Coach Cifaldi, who's been, he's been around a long time. And then Eddie Crump, who has also, he's a young guy that played at Boardman that we're happy to have.
Listen, I don't want to say Cifaldi's been around a long time, but rumor has it he was a server at Christ's Last Supper. I'm just saying.
You might be right, Ron.
The league that you guys play in, we made mention of this. Canfield is going to be outstanding. Fitch is always fielding a tremendous team. Howland and Warren Harding, they have some fun up in Trumbull County as well. You guys have a nice league going on.
Yes, it's a really nice league. It's been good every year that I've been there. Canfield's always good, just like you said. Fitch, and then Howland and Warren. They're never. they're always tough to beat. They're always very tough. They play hard, and then obviously, like you said, with Fitch and Canfield, that's a whole other. It's this whole other ball game. They're always tough.
And then you got the other league, the Steel Valley Conference, that has the two Catholic schools in town, Mooney and Ursuline, and the two city schools in Youngstown East and Youngstown Cheney. Look, Cheney has been historically, when it was Cheney High School and back in the day when Youngstown had a large amount of schools still around, Cheney year in, year out played some unbelievably good baseball. Mooney and Ursuline, they're solid, and I know you guys have them on the schedule as well. This area, it's pretty damn good with baseball.
It is. We play Ursuline. That was another out-of-conference game that we have, and Coach Weimer does a good job over there at Ursuline. And historically, they've always been good. And definitely, with Coach Popio on my staff, he's mentioned many times about the Cheney teams you're talking about because he coached there. They were always good, and so baseball is never. I don't think we've ever been short of baseball talent in Youngstown, Ohio.
Talk a little bit about the off-season program. Some of the older guys, and I guess I'm old school when it comes to this. A lot of folks, when I was a kid growing up, they said weightlifting was taboo, and then over the last 25, 30 years, the opinion has changed a little bit on weightlifting, where I remember, doing my tour of duty in the minor leagues, the bus would always go to a gym and guys would be working out various stuff in the weight room on a daily basis. Is that something that you guys are taking part in your off-season program?
Yeah, I think things have changed quite a bit. The weight room is definitely something that we utilize more. I think it's definitely specific to the sport. I think you're seeing a lot more band work, stuff of that nature. You're seeing drive line pop up a lot now, the weighted balls, the weighted bats. So, those are all different things. The J-bands, these are all different things that players utilize and are doing a lot more daily and a lot more often in their routine throughout the off season.
With this area being hit and miss, and we're talking weather-wise, I know next week it's supposed to be considerably cooler than what it is right now. What's the plan for the pitchers early on in the season, knowing that we did not have a high school baseball year in 2019? Is it going to be a lower pitch count than normal?
Yeah, I think you're looking to get, especially early here in these first 2 weeks, I would say, you're hoping to get 50, 60 pitches, 3-4 innings out of your starter, and then you kind of just piece it together from there. So I would say, your starter, 50, 60 pitches, and after that, he's probably coming out, and you're definitely going to your bullpen more often. And then even when you hit the bullpen at that point, you're probably 20, 30 pitches a guy from that point. So you could easily be using 3 or 4 arms in a game, at least these first couple of weeks,
and
at least in our situation.
And Skip, with the rules that are in place, that have been in place for the last, 3 or 4 years on pitch counts, it kind of makes things a little difficult, where if you don't have a really deep pitching staff, you could find yourself in a whole mess of trouble.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. If we're definitely blessed this year with some depth and being a little bigger school. But definitely I can see, when I used to help Coach Beam over at Springfield, and you run into, when you have a smaller school, you definitely run into, like you're talking about, a situation where it's just, you don't have that kind of depth all the time, and you have to be careful with arms and your pitch count, because it's the rule. So it definitely makes things more challenging for those guys. I know that for a fact.
Coach, I wish you nothing but the best. This will be a fun year, and I know that you're in a great league. I know that Boardman is synonymous with scheduling up. I look forward to seeing a lot of your games, and it's going to be a fun year. Hopefully, it's a safe year for everyone as well.
Definitely. I appreciate it, Ron. We're definitely looking forward to it, and we can't wait to get out on the field.
Well, just remind the pitchers they can't go to their mouth and they can't lick their fingers because we throw the baseballs out and have them sanitized, which, again, for between you and me and our listenership, I think it's ridiculous. But these are rules. And, especially on a chilly day, Coach, I was telling Coach Nittal from Canfield, I honest to God believe those hand warmers, those little tiny hand warmers that people like to put in their gloves, I think that you all ought to be making a run on those things and put a couple of hand warmers in a pitcher's back pocket. So instead of licking his hands or trying to keep his hands warm, go to those hand warmers like a pitcher would go to the rosin bag.
Yeah, well, I was just going to even mention the rosin bag. I mean, I think you're 100% right. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that, I don't know what sense that makes. I mean, if they're licking their fingers and wiping their pants and then throwing a 80-mile-an-hour fastball to the catcher and it hits the catcher's mitt, I'm not sure how the virus is surviving in that situation. But, hey, I'm not a doctor, I guess. So.
Yeah, neither am I. Nor do I play one on TV because my face is too ugly for TV. Hey, Skip, all the best to you, and look forward to seeing the Spartans play this year.
Thanks for having me, Ron. We look forward to everything.
All right, you got it. Joe Gabriel, the head baseball coach of the Boardman Spartans. It's going to be a fun team. It's going to be a fun team to watch. It's going to sound like a broken record. I'm telling you. There's a lot of teams in this area. It is going to be a fun baseball season. All right, we're going to take another time out, and we will get Jim Simbadi on the line from Warren JFK. He's in his first year. And, oh, by the way, he's got some pretty nice talent in his first year. Man, crazy good talent. We're back with more. Stick around.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
The 2021 Auto Show must go on.
Exclusively at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Save more during the Extra Mile Auto Show with employee pricing for everyone on some of our most popular models. Plus, get an additional $1,000 on the value of your trade. Schedule a test drive today to experience the 2021 lineup for yourself.
Visit GreenwoodAutoShow.com to see how Greenwood Chevrolet can go the extra mile for you.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Tracy Bryden, Latonia grad. Just saying, she'll get you a great deal. All right, let's talk about a great deal. A great deal for the first-year head baseball coach at Warren JFK, Jim Simbadi. He gets to work with some pretty amazing talent up in Trumbull County. Skip, you've fallen into a pretty interesting situation up at Warren JFK. My goodness, do you have some talent up there?
Yes, I got a lot of work to do here with the football and basketball program, what they did this past year. And, we have a lot of talent, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Let me ask you, with the football program and the basketball program doing really well, is that putting a challenge to the kids playing baseball this year at Warren JFK to keep the JFK train rolling?
Oh, yeah, we've talked about that. We'd like to hopefully finish it off down the line. But the kids are excited just to be back on the diamond representing their high school after what happened last year. And they're very eager to get out there tomorrow and show what they can do.
You know, Coach, we've mentioned this an awful lot. I mean, obviously last year there was no baseball, so the last time the kids were on the field, your senior class were sophomores, your junior class were just freshmen. It kind of puts an interesting perspective on how much teaching will be done this baseball season.
Yeah, Ron, fortunately they got the summer programs and their travel teams, the Class B league, that they were able, most of them, to play in. And in our situation, more than half of our team was on the basketball team, so we just we got them about 10 days ago. So we're trying to do as much as we can in a very short period of time, teaching-wise, getting everybody on the same page. trying to install the culture. It may take a little time, but hopefully we can get this thing going in the future.
Being that this is your first year at Warren JFK, what are some of the things that we can look forward to seeing in a Jim Ciambatti coached team?
Well, I think our strength run is going to start on the mound, obviously, with one of the best athletes in the area with Cam Hollabaugh leading that pack. It's a unique roster. We only have one senior, which is Cam, and we have a lot of freshmen, but that freshman class is very talented. But, again, they still are freshmen. So our pitching is going to be what we're going to try to hang our hat on. And I'm a firm believer in pitching and defense, and hopefully the offense will find its way during the year.
Well, pitching and defense, it'll take you an awfully long way, and you got to get some timely hitting along the way. But pitching and defense is certainly something to hang your hat on. With Cam Hollabaugh, I mean, clearly you have one of the best, if not the best athlete in Trumbull County. He won the Trumbull County Football Player of the Year award, won the Trumbull County Basketball Player of the Year award, and he's pretty good favorite to win the Trumbull County Baseball Player of the Year award. It's pretty nice to have arguably one of the best athletes to come down the pike in quite some time.
Yeah, he's a very talented young man, very nice man too, from a good family. And he obviously we only had him here for 10 days because he's been with his other sports, but it's you could see the talent, and I'm really excited to be able to coach him for the next couple of months, and hopefully he can lead us to some great things.
You made mention just one senior on the club in Cam Hollabaugh. Let's talk about some of the other talent that you have on this team, Skip.
Well, we have, besides Cam, we got our juniors, Gavin Schrum, Alex DeSalvo, Michael Morrow, who obviously were freshmen when they played last. And then, like I said, we have 6 freshmen on the ball club. Our roster is very, very limited, small this year, but again, very talented. 2 freshmen that stand out is Caleb Hadley and Jaden Rischel on the mound with them too. So we're excited. We're excited. We're young, but we're excited and talented.
Jim Ciambatti from Warren JFK joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. In a year in which you have limited numbers on your baseball team, and given the fact that we're just coming off of COVID that cost us the 2020 season, is pitch count going to be a theme with your program early in the campaign?
Yeah, especially obviously with the basketball players. We just, like I said, we just got them about 10 days ago, and they just threw up the mound a couple times and just threw in a scrimmage the other day. So, yeah, we're going to bring them along. Some of the other pitchers have been with us for a couple months, so they're a little bit more stretched out. But we're going to take it easy with the basketball guys and just try to work them in slowly and build their pitch count up.
For those that are not familiar with JFK baseball, you got a 27-game season. Does Warren JFK belong to a league, or are you strictly independent? And if you're independent, what kind of a schedule are we looking at, Skip?
Well, yeah, we're independent this year. I think we're planning to join a league next year, and we tried to balance it. We tried to beat the schedule with the Moonies and the Howlands and the Notre Dame Cathedral Latins to try to challenge us, obviously, because since we're not in the league, what our goal is to be ready for that middle of May.
No question about that. And obviously, you alone cannot just do this. You have to have a tremendous coaching staff with you. And JFK has always hung their hat on an unbelievable coaching staff, no matter what sport. Coach, give some love to your assistants.
First, both of them have worked tremendously hard. Carmen DeCristofaro is our pitching coach, and his knowledge of pitching, he really breaks it down into a science. He's done a great job, and he's still obviously with the basketball kids just getting here. He's just getting his hands around them. And Pat McCrockis has been invaluable to us with the teaching aspect and some of the other things that go along with running a baseball program. But I've had to lean on them, and they've done a great job for me so far.
For those that have not seen JFK play in a while, where do you play your home games, and when does your season start?
We play right behind our high school. We have our own field. And we play tomorrow. We open up at Champion against a very good program in the Golden Flashes.
Yeah, the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference, you can't really go too wrong, whether it's the Scarlet tier or the Gray tier. There's some really good baseball in both of those leagues, and one would imagine JFK could feast on that schedule alone and be prepared for the tournament.
Yes, we got a tough one right out with the gate with Champions Tradition, and it's kind of like a little rivalry around here for the kids. So they're really excited, and I'm sure Champions excited. I think all the state of Ohio tomorrow is, we have kids have been waiting a year and a month for this, and I think there's going to be a lot of people excited tomorrow.
I don't think there's any question about that. We're speaking with the head baseball coach at Warren JFK High School, Jim Ciambatti. I've been saying for years the baseball talent in the Mahoning Valley is really, really impressive. Up in Trumbull County especially, my goodness, there's some good programs up there.
Oh, yes. But the Howlands have always been top-notch with their talent development up in Trumbull County, and other schools too. JFK's always produced good ball players. So yeah, there's quite a few schools that and obviously Champion 2 or 3 years ago produced a number of great players after they won their state. So it's going to be a challenge.
Have the kids come together and put a goal up for this season?
Yes, we've talked about it. I mean, it's probably the goal of almost every program. We want to get to that district final and try to advance and travel a little bit in another regional and just take it one day at a time. That's what I've tried to preach to our roster, our kids is just take one day at a time, take one practice at a time. We have to be smart, obviously, with the numbers we have, with health. So we have to just focus on staying in the moment and take one day, one practice at a time.
Warren JFK, are they Division IV in baseball?
Yes, we are. We are Division IV in baseball.
Yeah, listen. Division IV is going to be a lot of fun this year because it normally is with McDonald and Western Reserve. They historically have a solid program. It would come tournament time, and that's a long ways off, and still plenty of baseball to be played between now and then, obviously. But come tournament time, Division IV will be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely. There's schools there. Just to mention another name, I think Jackson Milton should have a pretty decent program this year going forward. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna let the season come to us. Let each day come to us, and just prepare. And whoever we've got to play tomorrow, we got to just play our best.
Well, I know the numbers could be a little bit better, but I know that you've got a whole lot of talent with the numbers that you have, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well you guys perform this year. Coach, best of luck to you tomorrow in your opener and all throughout the 2021 campaign.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for having me on, and thank you to YSN, the staff, what you guys do with high school sports for the area. I think it's awesome, and especially for high school baseball. I want to thank everybody on the YSN staff.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing your team play. That's going to be an awful lot of fun. Always the best to you, to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
You as well, sir. Jim Ciambatti, the first-year head baseball coach at Warren JFK. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Man, there's going to be some good baseball being played in the Mahoning Valley in 2021. All right, we'll put a bow on this show coming up after this timeout. Stick around.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
And that'll do it for a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. DJ and the boys coming up next with Power Hour. Have a great weekend. When we speak on Monday, we will be down to 12 teams. Wait a minute. We'll be down to 8 teams. And then we'll have the Elite 8 contests starting Monday. So we'll have the NCAA tournament from 16 to 8 when Anthony and I come back to talk with you folks on Monday edition of Running Point. We won't have YSU football over the weekend. YSU's football game against North Dakota canceled due to a COVID situation with North Dakota. That game will be made up on April the 17th. Gives everyone an opportunity to go see Wright State and Youngstown State. Doubleheader, YSU taking on Wright State over at Eastwood Field, 1:30 game time for Game 1. Game 2 will get underway at approximately 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Also, plenty of high school baseball and high school softball on the diamonds this weekend as well, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous tomorrow and Sunday. That'll do it for the show. Many thanks to our guests, and we'll do it again on Monday. Running Point, noon to 3 on YSN Live.